Every child has a dream, and each one is beautiful and unique. But the problem you're looking at is, so more than 70% of the students, the children today, are preparing for jobs that may not exist. So jobs which you say are going to be taken by robots, by AI, whatnot. So we're looking at a constantly changing industry, a changing time, but a curriculum which may not prepare them for the same. So the analysis simply says that though we are second largest in terms of the education system when it comes to the capacity to make new things, to be innovative, we are placed in the bottom 10%. So OECD PISA, which basically understands what is the capacity of a child to think creatively, they placed that at 72 out of 73 countries that participated. And not just that, so beyond, there's a much bigger factor. So we are still preparing children at a point where we look at more of 19th century skills, a little bit of 20th century, and very, very minimal 21st century. So this makes it in such a way that only 1 out of 4 people who complete a college degree are even employable. And to make it all the more worse, a survey by the World Bank has said, so what a child could actually learn in 12 years in school is just equal to about 5 years, something they could learn overseas. That's where they've ranked us at. And beyond that, we are in a constantly changing world. So there was a time when we used to walk, ride horses, but now is a time where robots are almost present everywhere. So right from land, air, water, even Mars in space, robots are everywhere. The food we eat, the dress we wear, the medicine, the construction, the automotive, in every particular field, in everyday thing, a robot is present directly or indirectly. So moving towards a world where man and robot are going to coexist, and that is where this very important thing comes into play. DIA's exploration. So DIA stands for Do It Yourself Academy, where we enable children to do things and build things by themselves so that they believe and they see and they do it through experience and they carry an emotion for life. So the exploration is made of 3 simple words. First is technology, second is exploration, and third is innovation. So when all three combine together, the learning is complete. So in terms of technology, we focus on multiple core areas. So 3D printing, robotics, AI, embedded systems, renewable energy, like that. We have almost 10 different domains through which we take a child through in the tenure they are at school. So our ultimate aim is to expose them to technologies of the future to make them a confident and a self-directed learner. So coming to the second part is about exploration. So now all of us would say, hey, I learned this in school and now where do I apply? So let me give you a simple example. So now how can robotics help you actually understand and implement what you learned in school? So let's just take a simple example of where a child is trying to compute and understand this simpler formula in math. So distance, speed, and time, the 3 basics of everyday movement. Now, let's say somebody has to go to a place. What is the first thing we think of? How long is it going to take me to go there? So all that we've done is we thought, okay, I'll move at a 40 kilometer speed. So the distance is almost 10 kilometers. So this is the time that is going to take me. So about 15 minutes is what it is going to take me to get there. So now, how do I apply this and see the results? For example, let us consider I want to make a robot move from point A to point B. Leave it at that. Next, this is something else also that is coming in math. So this is about what is the shortest distance between 2 points if it is a right angle. Now we combine these two and we try to understand how can I implement these learnings into real time. So let's take a robot's wheel, for example. So we're going to use a robot to move from point A to point B. And we also know the distance. And now we need to understand how much time is it going to take me to get there. So what I will first do is, I will try to understand what is the distance my robot can travel in a given unit of time. For example, let's say the wheel has to make 1 rotation. So I need to calculate the circumference of the wheel. I'm using my math. Second, I need to understand how the motor works and how fast can it rotate. And third, how much weight can it carry. So here I'm using physics and math. And next one, I need to understand where is my point and where is the shortest route. So here I'm going to understand how I'm going to use the theorem to calculate my shortest distance. And then I understand what is the weight it can carry. Again, I'm going back to physics. And then I understand how do I control my motor by making sure it has the ample current being supplied. And then again comes my physics and electronics. And finally, I need to code my robot to do the function I ask it to do. And there comes my computer science. So, in simple words, robotics is nothing but an application of everything we learn coming together and seeing and producing an wholesome product. So, this is what we do in class. So, we give a robot to children wherein they build it from scratch. So, what you're seeing in front of you is a 3D printed robot which is modeled by children. So, you understand 3D modeling here apart from maths, physics, electronics, and all this. More importantly, even computer science. So when all the subjects coming together and creating a product, an innovation here, because here they make a robot that will not get stuck in sludge. It can walk even on the terrains where wheels will get stuck. So when all comes together, the subjects, the learning, the implementation, and finally an outcome, which is an innovation. So children here are using technology, exploring what they can do, working on different combinations, and finally coming out with an innovative solution to solve a problem. Technology for social good is what we look at, therefore, making sure the children are future ready. So, this is Dia's pedagogy that says exploration, technology, exploration, and innovation. So, what is it and how is it going to impact? Now, generally, we can classify people or the learners into three basic categories. First is auditory. So, these are people who can actually listen and grasp. So, normally you've seen people who have read the book out aloud to register what they are learning. And visual is people who just look at the board once, they grasp. And kinesthetic is the ones who have to do something physically, maybe write it down 10 times, twice, based on their capacity. So, here in robotics, what happens is first they see something, they see how it is working, they understand, they see and understand simulation, they listen to what the trainer has to say, and finally, they're going to make something innovative. So, when all three happens at once, every type of learner is catered to, and therefore, no one gets left behind. And ultimately, it is about empowering a child towards a successful future. Now, the basic question which most people ask me is, hey, Uday, robotics is something which people need when they go for a career. Why in school? So I tell them something very simple. Now imagine your ambition is to drive a race car. Can you do it without a learner's license? Absolutely not. So here what happens is robotics in school is like getting a learner's license to drive your race car. So you need to go by step, understand, implement, and pursue your passion. You need to get your basics right, and that is where we come in. We give them the right basics, the right technology tools, the support and guidance to make them pursue a successful career. So for us, it is all about the child, what the child can do, experiment, implement, and finally experience. And when everything happens together, you ignite the spark of brilliance. And that is why we say our motive is to make children future ready. So, what exactly do we do at there? So, first and foremost, we start from the experience, the environment. We build a robotic center of excellence, and then comes our international partnerships. So, to ensure that what we give is of global international standard, we have partnerships with four different countries: UK, US, Singapore, and Australia. So, what we offer to a child is of the international standard, and we focus on 10 different and unique domains which are of the future, thereby helping the child understand what the passion is, what they love by understanding, by doing. So they can pursue that in college or in higher studies by actually experiencing it right from the school stage. And finally, industry oriented curriculum, because unless you're prepared with what the industry needs, you're not going to be fulfilling your skill gap. And more importantly, a customized hands on kit. Now, we understand what a child needs and how it is easy for a child to learn. So, based on those inputs, we have customized and created our own kit so the experience can be wholesome. And more importantly, it is about career focused And since these 10 domains are pointing at 10 futuristic careers, so what a child learns now in school will be helping the child a long way through college and through the career. So when I say 10 different domains, these are the ones I look at. So starting from as simple as a coding based platform, basic electronics, building their hardware for daily life, like an automated street light control. So let's say we all have street lights. Now somebody has to go switch it on and switch it off. So here a child learns how with a simple light sensor, a child can automate the entire process and thereby avoiding wastage of power, reducing human effort and making it light based and not time based. So by this, subconsciously, we're telling a child that, hey, you should save power. So imagine you tell a child, switch off the light, switch off the fan, don't waste current. Will the child listen? But here what happens, when at a subconscious level, the child is learning that power has to be saved, the child will implement. That is what we mean by technology for social good, technology for social innovations. We help a child build robots which can help people. For example, in the next level, we help them build a robot that can help the blind to walk. So in robotics, where can be used in logistics like Amazon and Flipkart. And then we make them build Android applications and robots being controlled by that. And then they learn how to automate the industry. They work with 3D printing where all can be applied. And then web-based control of robots. Then they build AI-based bots which can complete and automate multiple levels of the initial manual mechanisms like a chatbot. And finally, Thingsman, wherein they build IoT solutions for security, simplicity, and energy efficiency. So through internet, they can build their own server and control objects from anywhere in the world. So when all this is being taught to a child in a hands-on way, the child will easily understand what the child's love is, and accordingly, the child can pursue that at a higher ed. These are some of the things which we developed. So when I say a process, what we mean is first is the theory. The child has to know what the concept is going to be taught. They understand how it works as a theory, and then a simulation where we explain how it is done, and then practical implementation where the children are supposed to do and complete the project, and finally the new application development, which basically means we give them a problem statement at the end of the class, and we expect of them to solve the problem using technology which they've learned. So the best way to understand the child has understood is if the child can implement. So with this, we ensure that everybody is actually working as a team and solving a problem. And then we take them to national, international contests, and then we also make sure they get certification international level. And individual attention is important here because we don't take more than 3 children per team, and we ensure everyone is able to do it. So without that, it's not going to be effective for everyone. And finally, whatever we do is hands-on. It is not a video presentation, it is not a theory class, but it is actually a hands-on experience. So beyond this, we also make sure that a child should be able to present what has been learned confidently on stage through presentations, through project contests, and interact with the team and share with the team how to do it and what are the outcomes that can be achieved through this. So now coming back to next part, when we talk about an experience, we've had a system transition over the ages. So we had the Gurukula system, and then we moved from here, which was more of a personal touch, a lot of interaction, a group learning. We transitioned into something like this, where it is technology oriented towards job readiness and individual. But then we saw there's some really good things in the Gurukula system and some important things in the modern system. And people thought, why not bring everything together? As in, because what was lost in the modern system was the emotion. So the bonding between children. So teacher hands the class, the children just listen. So there is no place where children can work together as a team. So people thought of such collaborative places where people can actually work together. Then came Dia. So Dia is all about envisioning a place where we can get the best of all the worlds. So we have envisioned a classroom where we combine tradition, innovation, and emotion. So here typically what happens is children work as teams of 3. They sit down on the floor and learn. They solve the problem together. They debug. They innovate together. So this is what a classroom looks like. So for us, it is all about what a child experiences. A child should love coming to the class. So this is how typically a class is. So normally you would see a class being conducted by a teacher, but here for a change, the class is student driven. So the student who finishes the project comes forward and helps the rest of the class with completing the project. It is all about team-based learning. There's nothing saying that you sit like this, sit like that, do this, do that. It is completely student-led, student-driven, and only supported by the faculty. So when learning is student-centric, the outcome is beyond what we can expect. The outcome is all about 21st century skills. So children become critical thinkers and creative thinkers because they think of multiple ways to solve a given problem. They communicate with the team and understand and come to the best solution. They teach each other, they help each other, and they motivate each other. And finally, they collaborate together to solve the given problem. The outcome is a creative product, a creation. So this is what 21st century skills is all about, and Dia believes in 21st century skills through robotics and IoT, thereby giving them the complete package. So when this is done, the outcome is grit. So in robotics, what happens is when you try to do a project, you won't get the output in one shot. Nowadays, you'd say that, hey, I tried once, I didn't get it, so I left it. That is the attitude of many. But here, what happens is children keep trying till they get the output they desire. So they learn to keep at it till they are going to succeed. So at the subconscious level, children develop the grit, the tenacity to pursue till they're perfect, till the expected outcome has been reached. And this not only ensures success in robotics, but ensures success in life. And this is one such outcome. So this child joined us at an early age of 7, and today, through his own interest, his own passion, he's built his own YouTube channel, put in multiple projects, participated in so many competitions, and finally, he's even been featured in the front page of a magazine. So imagine for a 7-year-old in course of 1.5 years an achievement like this. So all we did was to provide the right platform. When the platform is right, what a child can achieve is immense, and that is what we want. So back in the US, robotics started in the early 1980s, where the first robotics league was formed. So this is where we want to come in, and we want to fill in the gap and ensure that we are offering an international success to our children by bringing the best from across the world onto one common platform. And the result is this. So we were able to achieve and empower people, children, educators, and teachers to give the wonderful platform to children. And we didn't just stop there. So we wanted to see our effectiveness and prove our merit. So we just picked up a bunch of children from an underprivileged community, like an orphanage. So these are children who never even went to a proper English medium school. So basically, they can't speak English. They never seen a laptop in their life. They never worked with electronics. But within a span of just 20 hours or a span of 12 weeks, they bagged a national level first place where all the premium schools across the countries participated. So at IIT Madras, they won the innovation challenge and putting them on the paper in Hindu. So that is the potential of the right platform and the right methodology of teaching. So this is us on multiple mass media. And this is one more such unique achievement. So normally when we say robotics, people think it is about engineering. But here we took up a challenge. We worked with an arts and science college. And one more thing, when robotics we say, they think it's more for the guys. But here it was a purely girls' college. So we just took 6 girls in their final year. And in a span of 6 months, they built the first ever personal assistant robot by an arts and science college in India. So today, this robot is answering all the questions of all the visitors by being the receptionist of the college. Anything is possible if the platform is right. So this is us winning the most promising business for women award. And this is the excellence in robotics education. So this is for the futuristic education award. And this is one such achievement, again, a pan-India contest, where our student, the only participant from all of Tamil Nadu, has achieved not one, but 2 prizes, the best solution and the best presentation. So in a crowd of almost 5,000 children across the country, he came first. And all this with just 1 week. So, like I repeat always, it's all about the right tools, the right platform, and the right motivation, along with the teaching methodology, which can lead any child to success. So, this is us. For us, it's all about giving wings to a child's dream to make them future ready. Thank you.
There are few questions which you have typed on comments section. So I'll read out the questions for you, Uday.
Sure.
Okay. The first question is, can you share some stories of impact?
Okay. So, first and foremost, so my favorite story is that of a child in Orapakam in Chennai. Right. So this was a child. The parent was very scared, very skeptical. The reason being, the child would not speak to anyone. The child would not interact. The child could barely read. The child will never come on front. So the child had difficulty even in reading the alphabet, and the child was already in second standard. So such was the purpose of a parent. And we did a small summer course for them, less than 10 hours. At the end of 10 hours, we have the presentation for the parents. And the parent was literally in tears. She couldn't see what was happening. In fact, she was so surprised to see a child who could not even come in front and talk, who would not mingle with anybody. She was presenting her project as a team. She was doing and presenting her code in front of all the audience. And finally, she was able to actually read, put in the commands, and all this in less than 10 hours. So the parent could understand the impact of actually doing things the hands on way. That was the kind of transformation which we could achieve in just 10 hours. From a completely silent child to a confident child who can present her project in front of an audience. That is my favorite story.
That is really amazing, Uday. Let me go to the next question. This has come from a school side of you. They have asked us, how does this benefit the school?
Right. So we understand that from a school point, already a lot of things that is going on for school to handle. So all that we expect the school to do is just give us one room and we take care of everything else. The complete lab setup, the equipment, the systems, the trainer, the international partnerships is completely taken care by us. We run the complete program and we even ensure we have an expo at the end of the year so parents can actually come and see what children have done. So we ensure that the parent satisfaction is achieved, the child development is also achieved, the school also gets international partnerships, absolutely with no effort from the school side. So it's everything on us. We do the complete support and we ensure that their children are future ready. So all we look for is just one room. And just in case a school feels I might not want to give an empty room, I would like to share the existing computer lab. We can support in that aspect as well. But we always ensure that there is not more than 3 children per team so that the hands on experience can be effective and make the child confident.
Good. We have got one more question from a lady by name Shruti. She is written like, I as a teacher, how will it benefit me? This program, how will this program benefit me as a teacher?
Right. So there are two things. So when it comes to a lab, there is our trainer and there's also the faculty from the school side who can participate. So our trainer becomes a support system wherein the complete class is led by the students. So for the teacher, this is the time the teacher can think about some innovative idea, create a group of motivated children, make them work as a team on a project. So the teacher can actually work on the core competency of what the outcome has to be and leave the execution to us, enabling the teacher more focus and more time to ensure that the objective of making the child learn a technology is also achieved. And parallelly, they can go as a team and participate in multiple national and international contests with our support. So the teacher's burden is reduced to a great extent, and also the objective of the technology learning is achieved.
Yeah, there's one more question from a management of a school. I'll not take the school name. What
Yeah.
benefits does the school get through international partnership is the question.
Right. See, first and foremost, it's about the school's branding and positioning. So, for international partnerships is definitely a very big deal for many institutions, which will not come in that easy. It has taken us almost 3 to 5 years of effort with each network, each country, each company to build this over the years. So when we partner with institution, it happens over just one signature. The school can use this branding across all their publications, print, mass media, PR, anywhere. And beyond that, at the end of the year, we take those who are interested and those who are performers to our partners across the world, like a summer school, where even they go to Oxford, they might go to NUS, they might go to Lufthansa and Ireland. So, like that, we have many iconic institutions across the world where the children actually go and experience the international standard of technology education. So not only do the students get international exposure, these children even get featured through contests, and the schools can always publicize how these children have done something at a global level. This enables the school to attract the interest of more parents, and the children benefited from the international exposure. And the international partnerships also enable the teachers being trained by educators overseas with more than 20 years of experience. So their practices, their techniques, their technologies can also be learned by the school. And also, if the management is interested, they can always go and they can experience the teaching in the overseas institution we partner with. There can always be exchange programs where a child can go and pursue about 6 months to 1 year in a school in UK, for example. So these are the benefits of international partnerships, which truly offer an international experience.
Implementation of robotics in the school curriculum as compulsory shall be a burden on the students. The parents and the students will face a great difficulty in adapting to learn robotics along with the other subjects. The parents would not like their children to get overburdened with unnecessary inputs for their children. What if the child is not interested in learning programming languages?
Right. Now, what if I told you your child does not like to learn math? Do you say yes? Let's not learn math? Absolutely
No,
not, right?
obviously, when it is a part of a curriculum, you can't tell those things.
Now, at any point in time, do you think that's why a child is going to work? Can a calculator or Google actually offset what math they have to learn? Definitely yes. Correct?
Yes.
So, when something that can be substituted is given so much importance, why not something that is critical be given its due importance? One. And two, we're not about teaching robotics, we're about the child imbibing 21st century skills through robotics. Robotics is just the tool, but the outcome is the overall development of a child. We want the child to be a creative thinker, a critical thinker, be collaborative and communicate. This is what we actually want. And this, no matter where the child is going to go, be it a job or business or higher studies, in every point of life, all these four basic skills are very, very important. And moreover, looking at this as a career oriented program. So when you give so much importance for an IIT JEE or a AIMS or a AIEEE kind of a coaching, I don't see the difference why such a bias should be there towards a technology education, which is all the more critical. And more importantly, whatever math, science, physics, computer science learning in school, they're actually learning it the practical way, which will actually enable them to show more interest towards what they're learning in school, and creating an interest will help them to score more. So let's say something is being taught in 11th standard or in a college second year, and we are teaching them the same thing as early as third standard. We are putting the child ahead of rest of the world by giving them the right tools and enabling them to experience what they definitely will in the future. We're not giving them something which they will never learn. We're giving them the right thing which they should learn.
The next question, Mr. Nayan has sent me. He wants to ask that do you people conduct any workshops and exhibitions?
Yes, definitely. So workshops we conduct when the time is constrained, when the school can give us a day or two full days and give us a specific focus. So we let the school choose what they want to focus based on the stage the children are in, and we conduct specialized workshops school wise and exhibitions definitely, because so unless we create an expo kind of a thing, an exhibition kind of a thing, we want the platform for children to present, and we want to come and see and be inspired. We conduct contests, regional, national, and international.
Nice one. Uday, there are a hell lot of questions which are coming. I'll not take much of your time. There's one more question, interesting question. What is the usual response you get from parents when they hear about robotics for 7-year-old?
So first thing they ask is, are you serious? Second, is it possible? Third, do you really teach robotics? So these are the kind of questions I get in the similar line. Now, my simple answer would be, the limitation is not in the child's mind, the limitation is in the parent's mind. Now, many of us will agree that my child will meddle with my phone better than me. I didn't know this was there in my phone. I didn't know all this is possible. So my child taught me how to do this. So when you see a child is inquisitive by nature, a child likes to experience new things, a child will love to get their hands dirty. So it is the parent who has to give the opportunity for a child to experience. Now, all of us have this thought process like, let's try something for 1 month. If it is work, then okay, we'll pursue. Else, let's not do it. So why not do the same thing with something that can help your child in the future? Let a child experience robotics. When I say a 7-year-old, I've actually worked with children as young as 5. I even taught robotics to 5-year-olds, and they do amazing programming. So when it comes to logic, nobody can beat children. And programming is all about logic. So the right software tools and the brilliant logic of children, programming is going to be a child's play, and with the right technology tools in terms of robots and right channelization, outcome is going to be brilliant.
Interesting, Uday. Thank you so much.